Welcome again. Today we are going to, discuss on a very interesting topic. We've had multiple conversations on it, and I think this was one of the challenge which was shared by, not just one or two, but like I think four people when we reached out to different community builders, around what challenges are they looking to be solved. So yeah, without further ado, let me quickly share today's topic. The topic is how to position your community beyond just an online group. So a lot of people start creating their community, but it's sort of wrongly perceived as just an online group, where you create, let's say, a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group or a Slack group, and then you hope that it will just be the community that you always wanted for your brand. But it doesn't work like that. There are a lot of things that go beyond just creating the group. Now we are all part of those WhatsApp groups where nobody cares what's happening. Everyone is just sharing their own promotion, or everyone is silent, like both kind of cases you would have seen. And those are typically the groups that we want our community to not be seen as, we want. And with me we have few of our seasoned community builders who are going to talk about their experiences on this topic. So yeah, without further taking time, let me very quickly share my screen. And also just want to take a minute to introduce myself. I'm the founder and CEO of LikeMinds, which is the software that powers Community Hood. Community Hood, like I said, is a community of community builders, and LikeMinds is a software that powers in-app communities for different brands. All right, so let's begin. Now, the first part of building, differentiating your community from any online group, I think is having a culture. Like, this is very important. If you have things that create this culture, it literally, it's almost like when you're building a company or you're part of a company, that culture is something that is very unique to the company where you're working in. And that like determines a lot of things that happen at the organization. Very similarly, the culture of the community also determines how people behave in the community, how people feel belong with the community. So few things that you must do is have a vision very clearly defined. I keep referring to the 3 pillars for us at Community Hood. There are different things that you might also figure out for your own communities, and like keep repeating that. Make sure your members are very aligned on that. So that helps them to know, okay, there is something beyond just the space, whether it is a WhatsApp group or a Slack group or a Discord group. There are people beyond it. There are emotions beyond it. There is a vision beyond it. So that's very important. The second thing that we learned was that a lot of people do is building a persona for the community. Now, basic things like having a name to the community, having a logo to the community. In fact, we'll have someone talk about the name being given even to sub communities. So that's also something very interesting. And then you have your own lingos for the community. So for example, like I come from this college where we had, and I'm sure all of us must have, where we had a lot of words which were very unique to the college, right? So if you can figure out those things. So for example, we would say sponti for spontaneous. We'll have facha, which is like fresher in the college. So there are a lot of these small lingos that makes people feel part of something as an insider of the community. And once they identify that keyword outside as well, they know, okay, this person is from the same community. So having that lingo is also very interesting and helpful when you set up your community's culture, which essentially helps you differentiate your community from just an online group. Rituals, I think we've spoken about them a lot in past. I think the any community, it cannot. I feel it cannot survive without rituals. So have rituals. They will add a lot of personality to your community. They will add a lot of human element in your community. People will look forward to some of these things, and that will differentiate your community from an online group as well. Appreciate members often, give them rewards. So for example, Quora has introduced things like leaderboards, badges, karma scores. I think Reddit does it really well. We used to do that at Curify, which was my previous venture where I built a community of doctors. I think this is very, very important. A lot of people sort of find these small ways to come forward in the community every day and contribute in the community. And it's not that it's they do it just for the points. It's just fun to be visible on these leaderboards, and people become competitive as well. Like, it's a very basic human persona. So those competitiveness, those gamification also add to the community culture. So even if you're not using a platform where these things are given, you can always run these competitions within your existing platform and find ways to create these gamification models in your community. The next thing is send out personalized communications. So there are a lot of tools, right? Like, you can use WhatsApp, you can use email, where you can personalize the way of sending a message. Even if you're doing it at scale where you want to automate it, there are tools out there today which help you personalize your communication. So if you are able to personalize by, let's say, adding the name of the person when you're addressing to someone, it actually helps you helps the community member feel that they're like, my name is being remembered by the community manager or at least someone in the community. So again, it brings the human element, which again differentiates your online community from being just an online group. And then moderate your community for irrelevant content, irrelevant discussions. Again, I've talked about it in past, but just saying it out again. If you do it proactively, your members will learn from each other that, hey, this is a behavior that is accepted here. So rules are also an important part of creating the community culture. Now, there are few practices that we've seen work well to make your members feel belonged, and I think that's number one way to differentiate your community from an online group. If your members feel that like when they're talking to a friend who also is a potential community member and they feel belonged, they'll recruit that member for your community. And that's again something which is very, very powerful and something that differentiates your community from an online group. So few hacks that you can use while making your members feel belonged. Like, be more positive, show a lot of gratitude, appreciate your members every now and then. Like, be very, very the way you use your tone publicly, be positive in that. Don't complain a lot publicly. Try to take negative conversations in one-on-one messages if possible, or one-on-one calls. Build like deep relationships with at least few members in the community. Encourage collaboration. We'll see, and like we'll discuss this topic in more detail. Create a lot of fun if possible. Like, I think everyone out there, wherever you go, like whatever kind of community, whether it is an offline community or an online community, if there is an element of fun, you'll see that people are going to come more often in your community. They'll come back often. If you just make it monotonous and it's very transactional, then people will feel that, hey, this is good, but I have something some work which is probably a bigger priority than doing participating in activities of this community. But if it is fun, they will participate in these activities. Let's say on weekends, they'll participate in these activities when you do anything offline, because they know that this is like almost their leisure time. The next part is very very important again, is member collaborations, where if your members are collaborating with each other, that also differentiates your community from an online group. Because if you can enable people to to work with each other, to have fun with each other, it almost so David Spinks recently also published on this topic, where there is something that he calls as community member fit. And one of the strong signal for that is that members are collaborating with each other without your involvement. Now, initially, you may want to have to seed that behavior, or create prompts that can help your members to know that, hey, something like this can happen here. But in long run, I'm sure if you do it well, your members will figure out a way to collaborate with each other even without you being involved in it. Now, some of the ways that you can do this is you can create nudges in the community by creating conversation which starts with, hey, can someone share how do you use X, especially if it's a professional community. And then if someone is using, let's say, a software which is now was evaluated by some other professional in the same community, they may reach out to the first person asking for a feedback about it. So there are ways you can actually nudge your members to collaborate with each other in the community. The last thing I want to talk about is offline community strategy. I think as pandemic is finally over, hopefully, I've seen a very very increasing trend of all the brands, at least, evaluating the offline strategy for not just branding but also creating a belonging between members. And even like I was talking to Om yesterday, and I've been talking to a lot of other edtech players. I think it's been a big challenge to bring people to online events, at the scale of what it was, let's say 1 year or 2 year back during the pandemic. So offline strategy is something that now almost every serious community builder is evaluating, and I think it's worth having at least some form of offline presence in your community strategy. So figure out ways. The most obvious ones is host local events, find volunteers who can do it for them, for you in their local area. Again, we have we will hear some views from some of the volunteers who have seen this happening in their communities, or some of the communities they are also part of. So would love to start maybe from Arun. Arun, I remember you talking about this very interesting journey, from being an offline heavy community to lately seeing a fully managed event by volunteers in couple of cities. How did that transition happen? Like, how did that level of belonging come?
See, like you said, after COVID, there is a very less number of people attending the online events. So at the end of the day, we need to double down on offline events. And when we started doing offline events, at that time, we saw that, okay, offline events is really good. People are getting really good experience. But the thing is, it's not scalable. So we were just trying to make it scalable. So what we did was we just made some process documents. So in process documents, what we did was we wrote each and everything, how an event should be happening, from an itinerary, what all things are required to do an activity. And we assigned all these process documents to the active members. Then we asked them that who all are interested to do doing such events. After that, some of the community members who were active, they said that they want to volunteer for this. And this will be the first time that on 27th, which is few days. I mean, on 27th, Delhi, Mumbai and Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore, we will be doing event. So for the first event, for example, if we need to initiate an offline event in Visakhapatnam. So Maddie will be there. She'll be doing the first event. You can say setting up the base for a city. She'll be doing, but after that, we'll be picking up one of the volunteers who he or she is. I mean, belongs to that particular city. Then the process document will be circulated, and all the things will be done by them only. So it is basically like Nipun, like you said that there are some set of rules. I pick this thing as events like, if you want to play a game, there is no moderator over there. You know the rules. So it is just that, okay, if you want to play football or badminton, you know the rules. So community members are coming, you are giving them the set of rules. So they can, engage with each other at that time.
Vineet, you talked about, that running community in our pre-event catch-up where, there was this person who used to literally chase, a lot of people who would become absent, go to their house and make them participant in the community. Can you talk a little bit about that level of enthusiasm as a community builder and how that reflects and eventually makes the community much more belonged?
Okay, so Nipun, the example is of Diana Ali from Great Hyderabad Adventure Club. All right, so when Diana started GHAC, they used to organize treks over the weekend and other things. All right, now initially people used to say that we are coming, and this I am talking about sort of pre-Instagram days. Facebook was definitely there. When people are not turning up, so what Diana started doing is like literally landed up at folks' house who expressed an interest and like, are you guys coming or not? And slowly and steadily, what happened is over a period of time, the meetups used to happen and folks used to come together and go out for treks. All right. So this is the live example which I know about because when I was in Hyderabad way back from 2015 to 17, I have actually heard Diana speak about it on the August Fest forum under the adventure sports session. All right. So this is one example. The other thing which I spoke about running was like when we say runners as a community, so if you go on Instagram, like there is like 1 or 2 posts which says that globally only 1% of the people have run a marathon. So just in case if you've attempted and completed a marathon, you are part of the global top 1% of the crowd. All right. So it starts from there. Now what happens is like any fitness among the fitness sports, running is the easiest activity which you can pick because you need a pair of shoes and a place to run. That's it. Nothing more than that. All right. And we have been growing from our childhood and we have been part of it. So this is the activity. Now, when I'm talking about groups, in every area, all right, a couple of runners, who are enthusiastic about their fitness, they want to participate in a marathon, that becomes their goal. They come together and they start training together. Because just imagine, instead of one person running on the road at 5 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning, you have a group of 4 or 5 guys coming together and running. All right. So the collective becomes a much more interesting thing because there are conversations, there are discussions from the fact that if you are getting a sprain or what's the nutrition stuff you are taking and other things to take care of that thing. So that becomes a interest-based group. Moving on forward, there are like, organizations like Mumbai Road Runners, Ace Runners and stuff, which actually facilitate marathon training. And if we move on to a brand level stuff, something like Adidas Running, all right, which started Adidas Running, Nike Running. It started as a community, where people came together for fitness. And now the Adidas runners actually, helps Adidas, sell more products and every marketing KPI is being hit. All right. So right from, you being from the runners tribe, which is a group. All right. If you are going for a marathon and you see a particular person wearing a marathon t-shirt, you just initiate a conversation and they will be happy to take it, to forming an interest-based group, to actually brands forming, their group for one activity and leveraging the entire community. So it's like when you build that bigger, have a bigger goal in place, there are multiple things which are possible under the same umbrella. That is exactly what the thing is when we spoke about positioning your community beyond a forum or an online group to what exactly. So this is exactly the holistic piece to be taken into account.
I'd like to now invite Om. Om, hi. I think there are a lot of things that I'd love to have you here, like have you talk about. But let's start this identity being given to your sub communities or different batches. How did that thought came? How did that thought come? And what's been the initial sort of results around it?
So basically, just building on top of what Vinit said, like you don't have to actually go out and promote that we are running community. You identify with few identifiers, which is a t-shirt or a shoes. So at the same time, when we are running these programs, we saw that a lot of people are coming from very different backgrounds, but they are now in a same batch. But a lot of times they don't know who exactly to talk to, how exactly, to build that connect to begin with. Like we did a lot of icebreaker events, icebreaking activities just to break the ice, understanding what. But we thought, let's just give them something which is not a name, not a location, and something that they could just, whenever they say they connect. It's as simple as that, no thinking at all. So I just thought why, and I think I heard Shelton say something on this Stoa, and I thought let's just test it out. So I think last month we started 8 batches of programs, and everyone had a different keyword or a word of appreciation, whatever we call on that. And the rule, how to use that word is whenever you want to say yes, or I agree, or this is amazing, this is insightful, or any affirmation, you just say that word. You don't say all these other words. You just express your gratitude with this word. So one of the things, for example, Kaching specifically is for performance marketing program, which is all about money. So Kaching is a sound of, a slot machine when the money comes in and you do it. So whenever we have some guest sessions coming in, some insightful, oh, Kaching, this is insightful. Do you agree? Kaching, yes, I agree to this. So we basically did all these events, and it's working out very well. It basically worked out as a good icebreaker, like a pull strategy of people talking to each other and not us pushing, breakout mein jao, baat karo. It basically started, this boy is very active. He's actively, putting in efforts and doing this, and he's active and actually can identify good insights. For example, if a community, some of the session is happening, and if I am, or one of us guys is on a very specific note is typing, Kaching. So this is the guy who is able to find out some good insights about the topic. So he's an insightful person. Let me talk to this guy. So this is how at Growth School, the major thing that we focus on is just the discovery of people meeting each other, I think, which basically is the underlying, strategy, whatever we call it, is across the communities. Be it Discord, be it Slack, be it WhatsApp, the groups will be formed wherever they're comfortable. But I think the discovery is what you facilitate, and that are the certain identifiers. It's been working well. One thing on top of that, what we added is so that how do people trust each other, or how do people feel accountable to each other, or find out people who are accountable to themselves or are determined to do what they are. Because in our case, it's a learning program. So you have to be sticking to it towards the end, 2 months, 3 months. So what we thought is, let's just have a timeline created by them on the very first call. Like on an onboarding call, what you do, you have a first Genesis thread created, like in the blockchain concept. But Genesis thread, probably you post it on LinkedIn or a Twitter. And every week, because there's a lot of content, you might not remember all of it. You just remember 3 or 4 points. Every week you go ahead, add a tweet to the same tweet, like a thread. Week 1, I have done these 3 important things. Week 2, I have done this 3 more important things. So basically at the end of the 8 weeks, or whenever the program ends, you have one thread of all your learnings at one place, so that you are able to reflect back, this is what I actually gained. Wherever you basically write, it's modern journalism, as we call it, in a very short format. It can be a document, it can be a Medium blog, it can be somewhere, but as social as it can be, it basically gives the feeling of determination that, people are watching me. And one thing, these are three things that I am taking away from this. And what we do then at the back end is we create a wall of all the threads combining together so that I can understand what Nipon is learning from this program. Nipon can understand what Vinit is learning from the program, and we can share our insights like this. So that is working out really well, the two examples that we shared. On top of it, I think what Arun mentioned, just validating the same fact. They are trying to do the offline events without the team being there. We did 5 events already with the same concept. For example, we did one of the no-code workshops, which is again a paid event. And there were close to 100 people who signed up to attend an offline workshop. It was managed by 3 volunteers. Venue cost 0 because we knew people who were able to give us the venue. And normally it goes to 30 to 35,000 in Delhi, Gurgaon area. We had a place there, a good a good banquet with all the projector and fancy facilities there. And then 3 volunteers who were able to help. They were able to get opportunities from that event itself. One of the volunteers got a client worth 1 lakh rupees who was building a Webflow website, and this guy knew it. So it's just getting to one more deeper level to getting the people who are actually relevant to that event or workshop. For example, I specifically selected 3 people who were in the no-code community or who know no-code or are actively exploring that, and I asked them to host it. So it's basically learning experience for them as well, along with getting some opportunities or building the network. So not looking at the feeling of transactional perspective. For example, if I volunteer, are you going to give me something? I mean, a lot of places we see that, right? Okay, मैं कुछ कर रहा हूँ तो मेरे को कुछ मिलने वाला है क्या? So even when we don't say it, how does it automatically happen? It's basically around the lines of creating value and value not being money specifically. How are you able to do that? And I think these 3 are the great validators, I think, in the last 2 months that we have done and been working out with.
Awesome. I think we just made it, in time. Thank you everyone for coming and, patiently listening to us. I hope that, you got a little bit of, at least a few ideas on how to differentiate your community from just an online group. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks with another event at Communityhood. Do join in. It's you guys who make our events better. More of you guys are also seeing examples from Om, Vineet, and Arun are enthusiastic about sharing your own views in our next roundtable. If you intend to do that, do sort of, we will reach out to you for the next event, and you can always tell that, hey, you also want to volunteer by sharing your views. And it'll be really awesome way for you to, tell your peers what awesome work have you done, and, it'll also contribute to the community. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Bye.